Guys, after subscribing to this channel, please make sure that you also press the bell icon so that no notification, no new video of mine, any educational video, is missed by anybody.
All right, guys. So I start my class tonight on jaundice in pregnancy, and we have all our students there, especially the students who are undergoing their practicals on 29th and 30th. I would want them to come forward and volunteer to answer because you have less time, and I want you to practice more and more as much as possible. Of course, I have my DNB regular batch who is going to take it up from the next week onwards more rigorously. I welcome tonight Shilpa, who's going to be the presenter today, and Namrita, if you are there already, and Divya. So these two people will be helping her out. I think Namrita has a duty today, I guess. So Theresa, you can answer. Rosalind, what about you? When do you have your exams? Is it on 29th, 30th?
No, ma'am. I
Okay.
am 3 years course DNB, ma'am.
All right. Okay. Anybody else who has her exam in the class on 29th, 30th, apart from Theresa? All right. So it'll be mostly Shilpa and Theresa, and if there's anybody who would like to volunteer, I would love to ask you as well. So I begin the class with Shilpa coming over. So Shilpa, you can start your presentation now. Yes, Shilpa, over to you. Shilpa, you will have to unmute, beta. Unmute in case you're having difficulties. You can rejoin the class. Hello, Shilpa.
Yes. Mrs. X, 31-year-old, resident of Raipur, Chhattisgarh, Hindu by religion, studied till 8th standard and is housewife by occupation, married to Mr. Y, who has studied till 10th standard and is driver by occupation. She belongs to lower socio-economic status according to modified Kuppuswamy scale. She is G2P1L2 with LMP 7th of December 24. As per patient, her menstrual cycles were regular, so EDD comes out to be 13th of September 25.
Making her period of gestation currently?
32 weeks, 4 days.
Okay. 32 weeks plus 4 days. Okay. Yeah. Go on.
Came with the chief complaint of itching all over the body since 15 to 20 days, nausea and decreased appetite since 3 to 4 days. History of presenting illness.
Go on.
Patient was apparently all right. Then she developed itching on both palms, which was more during nights initially, but now it is all over the body and all day and night, such that she could not sleep. Associated with skin rash on abdomen and forearms, not associated with any pain or discharge. History of nausea, abdominal fullness since 3-4 days. History of decreased appetite. History of generalized weakness since 1 month.
All right, she's having decreased appetite as well.
Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
Anything further? Okay, you've written a big history. Let's hear that first, and then I'll ask you questions.
There is no history of new soap or detergent use, nor she has taken any new food items, ma'am, to rule out allergy. No history of any known skin allergy. If she has any known skin allergy, then we need to ask. No history of fever, no history of vomiting, no history of abdominal pain, no history of weight loss, no history of yellowish discoloration of eyes or urine, no history of bowel or bladder disturbances, no history of eczema. Ma'am, this I was not sure to ask or not.
What?
No history of any close contact with the person is infected with scabies.
No need to go into that much of depth, because I would, and anybody would, steer this Viva to your cholestasis only. So no need to go into such depth, because you've said, we heard, but no one will question, or even if you skip it, nobody will remark. Go on.
Okay. Yeah. No history of any drug intake, no history of any recent travel, no history of leaking or bleeding PV.
Fetal movements perceived fine. Okay, always write this thing down, right? Because especially in our case, becomes very important. Why so, guys? The class students, can you please tell me why is it so? And everybody, please write it down in your chat box. Do not speak right now. We are trying to do with we are doing it with Shilpa right now, and I would want you to just Write it down in the chat. Why do you think in our cases excessively it's important? In the meanwhile, I'll just flip it to the initial history because every negative history is very important for me. I'll be asking you regarding that as well. Yes, guys. So why do you think our case fetal movements important? Fetal movements there or present is very, very important. It's exclusively associated with IHCP. Just in case we're moving on, see, developing itching in pregnancy, that was the third trimester, first and foremost gives you what idea? What idea? It gives you an idea of cholecystitis, isn't it? The first thing that you will think about, isn't it? Pruritus, gravidarum, and everything might come later, but you want to make sure that it is not IHCP. Since how long she's been having, we don't know. How are the bile acids? We don't know. So once at least, even otherwise also, fetal movements perceived fine is important sentence, okay? Yes, in cholecystitis, there's a stillbirth risk. And so it becomes very important that we know at the very outset how the fetal, otherwise also, fetal movements, how are your babies moving fine? Yeah, the baby's moving fine. All right, so she came to us with itching all over the body, especially since the past 15 or 20 days. She's been having nausea and decreased appetite. Now, this is something which is concerning. Otherwise, nausea doesn't really, occur very dangerous or alarming to me, but decreased appetite along with nausea, maybe it's an acute event, maybe something else is going on, I don't know. So just by the outset right now, Shilpa, what are you thinking? What's your, plan of management thinking? What could be the possible DD for this patient? According to which you've taken your and constructed your negative history. So what is going on in your mind right now when she says, I'm having itching and I'm having nausea along with decreased appetite? What are you thinking? What could it be?
As there is itching and it is more during nights, I need to rule out any drug allergy or any allergy to anything else like soaps, detergent.
Okay, all right. That's one. Allergy is coming first in your mind. Okay, itching all over the body. All right. What about how will you associate? Okay, let's finish off with itching. What else is you coming in your mind with just itching alone?
Itching alone means, ma'am, allergy and she is a pregnant female, so cholecystitis.
Yes, very good. It should be in your DD. When an examiner asks you, don't hesitate in saying cholecystitis at all. Okay, what else? There are 2-3 DDs very, very common. Okay, Shilpa? So you at least name them. Then we will go to the uncommon ones. Yes.
There is no jaundice, so we cannot say, ma'am, hepatitis or.
So maybe she has not yet developed jaundice. Maybe she will develop it later.
IHCP is also associated with jaundice.
Sorry?
Rarely, IHCP is also associated with jaundice.
Rarely, but pruritus is very common in IHCP vesicae, so we can always label cholecystitis alone. Cholecystitis is there, drug allergy is there. What else is coming in your mind? Cloth allergy, maybe some new, thing that she's been wearing, some newer material nightie, because night suit is very, that she's been using it again and again, and because of that she's having this kind of itching. Anything else that's coming in your mind? Pruritus of pregnancy.
As there is nausea and decreased appetite, but hyperemesis won't present at this.
I'll tell you. When this kind of thing comes in your exam, always divide the DD into 2. So just the pruritus and pregnancy, this is my question which I asked you. Itching all over the body, if I just take this, and I do not associate with a decreased appetite and nausea, what all things will you say then? Or you can also write down, guys, I'm listening to her and I'm also seeing your messages right now. And you guys are answering very well. Most of you have been answering a lot and very nicely. You can take help, Shilpa. You can take point from them as well. No harm in seeing what your students are, the other colleagues are telling you. Because right now, all of you are learning. This is not an exam that you can't cheat. And this is not even cheating. They're helping you out so that you can think on those grounds. Maybe seeing their replies, if they've given you 10 replies, maybe 5 really stick in your mind. Maybe 3 you relate with, and 3 more you're able to say because they give you a hint. So there's no harm in seeing that. Yes, so guys, you're telling me that it could be drug allergy, cloth allergy, maybe allergy with any newer soap or something. could be just
Topic
the pruritus gravidarum. Do you know what pruritus gravidarum is, Shilpa?
Yes, ma'am.
Very, very common in pregnancy. Pruritus gravidarum could be ICP. Why not? It can be ICP. What else? Eczema, which is what you're going to, kind of negating later on. But I can also always think about eczema, atopic dermatitis, atopic eruptions of pregnancy. Atopic eruption of pregnancy and dermatitis in pregnancy are different. Atopic eruptions are completely different, okay? And base is still allergy in both the cases. But atopic means we do not really know what is the allergen. And when you're saying drug allergy or cloth allergy or, detergent allergy or soap allergy, then you know the offending agent. That's also a kind of atopic dermatitis. Anything else? Now, some of you are writing down AFLP and all. I would not really ask you to say something like that because AFLP, acute fatigue, is like a emergency situation, okay? So restrict from using such things. Say the common things first because she's not come with any other complaint apart from itching and decreased appetite. We'll come to that, okay? Hepatitis, if the examiner says what else, you will say hepatitis. But otherwise, pruritus, only this much which I have already told you. Okay? Yes, atopic eruption you can say eczema, you can say pruritus gravidarum, you can say IHCP, and all the allergies that you can think of, that you can say. Drug allergy, cloth allergy, whatever. Yeah, you can say that. Now coming down to the next one, nausea and decreased appetite. What do you think would be the reason for this? Shilpa, first you will give me the DD and then my students will also answer side by side. So only nausea and decreased appetite, what is coming in your mind?
Can be GI cause, ma'am.
You're thinking about a GI cause, yes. So you'll have to ask her regarding, whether she's had any recent episodes of, taking food outside, or it's associated with some bowel bladder complaints above all, isn't it? Constipation, loose stools, diarrhea, stomach ache. So maybe yes. Then anything else that's coming in your mind? Write it down, everyone, please. Only Shilpa will speak. Remaining all of you will please write it down. Yes.
Hepatitis, ma'am.
Okay, yeah, here you can say yes, there is a chance of hepatitis. Yes.
Any infection, infective etiology can be there, ma'am, because there is nausea, decreased appetite.
So that means we're still talking about your gastroenteritis or gastric causes, because where in fact are we talking about the infection? Somewhere in the GI tract only, something she's probably ingested. Correct? So these 2-3 things are coming in my mind. They might overlap, they might not overlap. Maybe the itching is because of something else and the nausea and decreased appetite is because of something else. Together she's having these 2 problems. Can't she come with multiple problems to us? So many times it happens, I'm having pain in the back and I'm also having increased urinary frequency. Now there is no such disease in which both things are there. It could be just 2 problems, completely 2 different problems, but told together to you. So it's not necessary that itching plus decreased appetite plus nausea have to be together and has to be one disease. It's very much possible that pruritus has a completely different DD and there could be another problem because of which he's having nausea and decreased appetite in the past 3 to 4 days. That is my idea to you guys. So if you're telling an exam, there is no need for clubbing all the, symptoms together and deciding for a disease. Okay. Rohan, very well done. Gastritis, GERD, hyperemesis, though not so much now common, but yes, it's possibility. Preeclampsia, nausea, vomiting. Okay. I can take it to a certain extent. Mostly stick to the, the gastro problems. Do not venture anywhere until unless, you feel that I'm really missing out a big point. Do not go there. Even if the examiner keeps asking you, what else? Because if the moment you mention preeclampsia, big things like AFLP, they will catch you there. And it will be a bad impression, okay? So just stick to the common problems, okay? So now we're thinking of all these things. And based on these things, now we're trying to tell the negative history. So she was apparently all right. And she developed itching on both the palms. Now, this is very important. Shilpa, when she says that she's developed itching on the palms, which is more in nights, what does it first give you the impression of?
Cholestasis,
Yes. Because itching on the palms and soles is pretty characteristic of cholestasis, okay? And more in nights, again, very, very high possibility of cholestasis. But now it is all over the body and she's not able to sleep. Usually, IHCP, the characteristic is that there's no specific rash on the body in IHCP, okay? So it's usually the marks. She keeps scratching, the scratch marks might be there. And some patients, what happens is they scratch so much that it becomes a discoloration, but that's not rash. You know what rash is, guys? You know what I mean by rash in pregnancy? She will have actual eruptions on the body. Okay, so they will, and they are the only things which we call rash. Like, have you seen when a mosquito bites and you keep, itching all over it, it becomes a bump, something like that. So macules, papules, pustules, they are different kinds of rash. Usually in IHCP, there is no rash. They're just excoriations of the skin, probably because of a lot of itching. And sometimes they leave scars or marks. So remember that, okay? So when you say it's associated with skin rash and abdominal forearm, suddenly I start thinking something else. All right, Shilpa? So be sure that you either don't write it in the exam and make sure that you're able to say that they are excoriation marks rather than rash. Are you with me, Shilpa?
Yes,
Very
ma'am.
categorically, there is a table. I think I have included it in one of my old lectures or old notes of IHCP. Probably still there in your theory course. Now, you have a different GTG on IHCP, and I'll be probably taking a class on it very soon, separately. But this tells you there was a table in it, and there was a table which used to tell you about atopic eruptions and this pruritus gravidarum, PEP and EP, and then finally IHCP. Very characteristically, it has written IHCP does not have any rash. So if you're writing this down, I'll just change it, associated with excoriation or scratch marks. Scratch marks on skin. Okay, Shilpa? So I'm changing it a little.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, not associated with any pain and discharge. What are you trying to rule out here?
Ma'am, any papular eruption or something will have
pain on discharge on skin. Acha. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine, got it. All right. Then nausea, abdominal fullness is 3 to 4 days, and there is a history of decreased appetite, plus generalized weakness in 1 month. Now you've said generalized weakness. Is she also having some symptoms of anemia? Is this what you're trying to tell us?
Ma'am, generally, if a patient is having so much of itching all over day and night, she won't be able to sleep and
properly. Okay.
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay. This is what you want to say. All right, got it. No problem. You should be able to justify it. That's fine. There's no history of SOPA. I know what you mean by that. No history of skin allergy. All right. No history of fever. What do you want to tell me from here? Anything specific? And what exactly are you associating infection with?
Hepatitis, ma'am, fever. It will present with fever and.
All right. So they're associating nausea and vomiting or nausea and pain with fever. That means she's not had any fever. So there is no infective cause of your nausea and decreased appetite. That's what you want to say?
Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
No, but she's not having any vomiting also. She's not having any abdominal pain also. She's not having any weight loss per se. Okay. Okay. What about this yellow discoloration of urine, bowel, bladder? So I'll come to later. The yellowish, what do you want to negate here?
Ma'am, jaundice, rule out.
Again, jaundice. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, because she's come to you with decreased appetite. The first thing that comes in your mind is her the liver okay? Okay, or is there an acute problem? And then you associate it with this. She's having itching. She's having pruritus. She's having nausea. She's having decreased appetite. Something is wrong with the liver, definitely. So you'll ask this. Very much justified. Bowel and bladder habits, I've already asked you to always include it. Okay, fine. Justified. No eczema, again justified. I'm just erasing this thing out. There's no need to be so specific about it. Okay. No drug intake, recent travel. What about recent travel? Why do you want to ask this?
Ma'am, if there is history of any recent travel, again, I want to rule out allergy. Like she come in contact.
Okay, used something, some dirty towels or something because of which she's having this. Okay. No history of leaking or bleeding PV and fetal movements perceived fine. I'll just add to it.
Yes, ma'am.